Good evening and thank you for joining us. This is the regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Cottonwood, Arizona to be held June 20th, 2023 at 6 p.m. Let's ask our clerk to take the roll.
Councilmember DeWillis.
Here.
Councilmember Duvernay.
Here.
Councilmember Karat.
Present.
Councilmember Naren.
Here.
Councilmember PALOSAARI.
Here.
Vice Mayor Wilden is absent. And Mayor Linsky.
Here. Thank you. Please stand to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, next on the agenda is a brief summary of current events by the mayor, city council, and/or city manager. The public body does not propose, discuss, deliberate, or take legal action on any matter brought up during the summary unless the specific matter is properly noticed for legal action. And council members, do we have anything to report? No? Okay, I'll just briefly say that I was able to introduce Mr. Scotty Douglas to all of Yavapai County. Last Thursday, there's a biannual meeting with all the mayors and managers and the nation and the tribe. We met over in Chino Valley. It was hosted by Chino Valley. I got to show off Scotty, which was great. And he got to meet all of his colleagues across Yavapai County. So it was a nice luncheon and really good to connect. We haven't done this since COVID, so it was good to reconnect with all those elected officials out there. Yeah, and that's all I have.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd also like to just say that it was really great to be able to meet all of our counterparts across the county. And we even had some electeds there, that were also representative. But what was encouraging in a certain way was we're all struggling with a lot of the same things: housing, being able to retain, attract and retain employees, cost of living, things like that across the county. But there were some really great opportunities for conversations we were able to have, maybe with some future partnerships, especially given that we're a full service city on this side of the hill. Mm-hmm. And then the next is just a reminder, Councilmember Naren will again be hosting the Cottonwood Community Awareness next week on Tuesday, June 27th. 4 p.m. at the Cottonwood Public Library. I'll be there for introductions and to answer any questions that any of the members of the community might have. And in this session, we'll also have a presentation from our library director, Ryan Bigelow, regarding the strategic plan. I'm excited about that. And we'll be also serving complimentary pizza and refreshments. So looking forward to seeing everyone there that would like to show up. Thank you, Mayor.
Great, thank you. Okay, next we have a presentation. This is a presentation, really an introduction of local artist Mercedes PALOSAARI. And I believe, Scotty, will you take this? Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. This is an opportunity for us to really highlight Cottonwood's rotating local artist program. The program launched a few years ago. However, due to COVID, this was halted for some time. We're very excited to being able to reintroduce this fantastic program that highlights the talent of the local artists here in the community. And the exhibit guidelines are as follows. So the first is the artist must be able to hang their own work, as you see around us here. All artwork must be hanging wire on the back of each piece, and artists must submit via email copies of the artwork that they wish to exhibit in a JPEG or similar format, digital. And then the last part is exhibiting space is provided free of charge on a monthly basis. And please reach out to our acting clerk, Tammy Mays, should you be interested in participating in the program. And at this point, I'd like to turn this over to Tammy to introduce this month's featured artist.
Mr. Mayor and council members, this evening I wanted to introduce to you this month's featured local artist, Mercedes PALOSAARI. Ms. PALOSAARI answered a call for artist flyer that our office sent out, and she was invited to meet with myself in council chambers to look and see what she could do. And we went over the criteria, and she actually signed the form and said she'd like to do it. So that was on May 12th. And as you can see, she signed the necessary paperwork. She was born and raised here in Cottonwood. Her exhibit is entitled A Glimpse into My Soul. And I would like to offer Mercedes a moment of your time so that she can introduce herself and provide a little more background regarding her style and her motivation for her artwork. I give you Mercedes.
Welcome. You have to come on up to the
podium.
I'm really hot. So. I'm not a public speaker, but I'm Mercedes. It's nice to meet you guys. Tammy kind of made this happen. I sent her an email request just to inquire, and I got nervous and I bailed, and then she emailed me again, was like, hey, can you meet today? And I was like, not today, but tomorrow. And I showed up, and I was really excited for it. She just kind of like told me the requirements, what was needed, and the space was a lot bigger than I anticipated, because all of my pieces are all just like little wood plaques. So we had to get bigger pieces really fast, but it was really fun, definitely a learning experience, and I like nature, if you couldn't tell. So yeah, I just draw a lot of inspiration from the world and just what it naturally grows, and trying to do more with it. I don't know.
Fantastic. Thank you for sharing your art with us. Yes, certainly.
You may have figured it out, but Mercedes has the same last name as me.
Oh, yeah.
She's my niece. I was in the hospital when she was born. Watching her grow, she has many different styles and many different artistic talents that I was only able to touch. But I just wanted to say she's done a great job. She's a great artist, and she loves it.
Great. Well, thanks for sharing with us very much. Okay. All right, next up is call to the public. This portion of the agenda is set aside for the public to address the council regarding an item that is not listed on the agenda for discussion. However, the council cannot engage in discussion regarding any item that is not officially listed on the agenda for discussion and/or action, and comments are limited to a 3-minute time period. So, we have a handful of folks here that would like to address the council. I'll start in the order in which I received them, and then I'll queue up the next person after I call the first person's name. So Michael Nacito, you'll be first, sir, and you'll be followed by Sharon Bonney.
Mr. Mayor, Council, I had a number of topics I was going to talk about tonight, but I thought I'd stick with an old reliable. This is my 10th council meeting, my fifth month addressing the council, encouraging them to adhere to City Code 2.08110 to agendize the item that would control the age of people attending adult entertainment, specifically drag shows. Last Saturday at Main Stage, there was an adult drag show, 21 and over, and no one cared. People that participated in it, attended it, wanted to, and those of us that didn't. And that's how it should be, because it's adult entertainment. Our goal is to have this agendized by the council, 2 council members, or 3 perhaps, submitting it for the agenda, for open discussion amongst the council members, input from the community, and ultimately an open vote in the public's presence to disclose how each and every council member chooses to vote on an age restriction for drag queen entertainment. The purpose is to protect children, minors, from unhealthy influences of sexually oriented material, and to control how Cottonwood is viewed by the county, the state, the country, and even the world. I appreciate your consideration. I'm not sure why it's not been agendized yet. Maybe someday we'll find that out. Thank you.
Thank you. Sharon Bonney, you're up next. You'll be followed by Randy Burdett.
Good evening. I'd like to point out the Great Seal of the state of Arizona, right below where the mayor is sitting. On it is written our great state's motto, Ditat Deus, Latin for God enriches. Our great country's First Amendment to our Constitution, Congress shall make no law respecting the establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. That means government can't make us worship anything, nor can they stop us from worshiping in public. Mayor Alinsky knows this because he participated in the National Day of Prayer at the Cottonwood Police Station on May 4th. I say all this because there have been complaints about the words God and Bible at City Council meetings. In another Arizona city earlier this year, the same drag group that the City Council allowed to perform at the Cottonwood Clubhouse in April, children present, included the move the spread eagle. We all know the difference, by the way, between the splits, which is an act of athleticism, and the spread eagle, which is flashing one's crotch. Had Randy and I not complained about that move, would the drag show event coordinator have left it in and the City Council have done nothing? Is a performer named after the drug ecstasy and appropriating another's gender and dancing for dollar bills family friendly? Is the City Council having a hand in gender confusion in a child's period of innocence family friendly? What does family friendly mean? City Council, please define the term you use. Stand in your own defense. The public sees how the City Council and City Manager run this city. Not only allowing children at a drag show in a public building, not only refusing to define family friendly, not only refusing to put the drag show topic on the agenda, but also forcing the chief of police on leave. Deputy City Manager Rudy Rodriguez has tarnished Police Chief Steve Gazelle's reputation. On May 11, 4 days before Rudy Rodriguez's interim term as city manager ended, he forced Police Chief Gazelle on administrative leave with no word about why. No word. FYI public, that's the power the Cottonwood City Manager has. It looks to the public like, and I want to be wrong, a move to tarnish a man's reputation for personal gain. Maybe so Chief Gazelle won't be a viable candidate for a future position that Deputy City Manager Rudy Rodriguez plans to run for. We'll be watching Rudy Rodriguez's career. In conclusion, Ditat Deus, God enriches, and what is the definition of family friendly? And the public sees what may be dirty tactics by the interim city manager. Thank you for listening.
Thank you. Randy Burdette, you're up next. You'll be followed by Jeanette Hoven.
I thank the City Council for allowing us to speak here today on the issue of adult entertainers dancing for kids for the 10th meeting of Call to the Public in a row. This is specifically about the April 8th drag show that took place in the Cottonwood City-run clubhouse, which included children and minors. I'm going to be repeating what I've said before, just as a reminder. As we all know, at least I hope we all know, performers whose shows are mostly adult-oriented or all adult-oriented are indeed adult entertainers. Similarly, drag queens/drag shows whose performances are mostly adult-oriented are adult entertainers/adult entertainment. So why are these shows allowed for minors/children? If this is okay, then why not allow strippers to dance for children, since they can tone down their dancing as well, even though they are without a doubt adult entertainers. Many will say that these drag shows are family friendly. Christopher J. Hall, the event organizer for April 8th, was doing sexual dances like the spread eagle, where one lays on their back and spreads their legs as far as they can so as to mimic the sex position, in the All Ages tour in Lake Havasu, Arizona, last February. The only reason he didn't do the same this time, as far as I know, is because he had been telling everyone to tone down the dancing because it's been getting a lot of attention. I don't believe that Chris had a change of heart since the first show in Lake Havasu and the last one, which was in this city. Also, parents bringing kids to these events does not make this sort of thing okay, even if it says 18+ on the advertisements. I hear these all-ages drag shows are about supporting trans and gay rights, the First Amendment/Constitution, equity, which is equality of outcome and requires a centralized economy. I also hear that it's for children to learn diversity, to represent over 8 million genders, parental rights. That opposition is all about religious views and fears/bullying, etc. But including minors/children in shows with adult entertainers has nothing to do with any of that. People have further said that this isn't political, yet the Verde Valley Democrats have supported this past April 8th event. What we oppose as a majority has nothing to do with hate or bigotry, no matter what anyone says. In closing, I implore the City Council to add this issue to the agenda and place a age restriction to shows including adult entertainers at the very least in cities/public buildings, or even disallow any sort of event that has adult entertainers for said buildings. Mr. Hall says he will be back again soon in 2025, or maybe as early as next year. I'm hoping we can have this issue resolved before then so as to avoid what happened this year. Hopefully we can all have a civil discussion on this together. Thank you.
Thank you. Jeanette Hoven, you're up next. I think I'm mispronouncing your name, and I apologize.
Hovey, thank you.
Hovey?
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Thank you, Mayor Linsky, council members, and community members for allowing me to speak. My name is Jeanette Hovey, and I'm a native of Flagstaff. I was born at the Grand Canyon South Rim. I'm here representing my company, Air Methods. We're the largest air medical transportation company in the United States with 23 bases in Arizona alone. I support 7 bases in northern Arizona. All are Native Air branded. We strive to hire local because they're committed to their communities. We spend local, have served the community, and will continue serving these communities for decades more. Long-standing Native Air 4 and 14 are in Prescott and Prescott Valley, respectively, with a rotor at each of the Yavapai Regional Medical Centers. Each of these helicopters have blood on the aircraft, so if we are requested for a scene call, they have it to administer. Native Air 83, which opened in December of 2022 at the Cottonwood Airport, should have blood any day. And Native 22 in Williams, Arizona, should have it by the end of the summer. This resource helps contribute to saving over 100,000 lives annually. As our populations continue to grow, our interstates are busier than ever, accidents continue to happen, and medical emergencies that our first responders are called out on, needing critical care, continue to rise. Essentially, having an emergency department in a helicopter providing critical care saves lives. Smaller fire districts and EMS departments in these rural areas of Arizona depend on us to help fill the gaps when time is of the essence. Ultimately, at the end of every 911 call is a person needing help. The closest, most appropriate helicopter with the fastest response time is how we respond after acceptance by the ground first responders. We have amazing nurses and paramedics on each flight ready to save lives. Our education is cutting edge, and we now offer online and in-person critical care education program to the communities that we serve. After a medical transport, we have a CARES team patient advocate assigned to each patient who helps them with insurance and billing. As of January 1st, 2022, the No Surprises Act protects patients from large balance bills and surprise costs related to emergency air ambulance billing. These huge bills are a thing of the past. Those huge bills are a thing of the past. With Air Methods, air medical transportation is covered by insurance, Medicare, Part B, and Medicaid. Beyond that, the balance of the bill cannot be billed to the patient. The insurance deductible with in-network providers remains around $182 as the state average in Arizona. We all must know what our deductible is with our insurance. I have a $2,000 deductible. My friend has a $12,000 deductible and would probably be a candidate for our advocacy program. Some of us have no insurance and are self-pay with a state average of $143.
Your time is up.
Thank you very much.
We appreciate you
it.
coming
We're
in.
excited to be here.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
John Mitchell, you're up next. You'll be followed by Barbara Pawlowski.
Council and Mr. Mayor, I was here 2 weeks ago and began a statement, and because of the limitations in time, I wasn't permitted to complete it. So I'm going to start kind of where I left off, but I still want to ask. I asked specifically for you 2 weeks ago, Mr. Mayor, if somebody from staff or you would get back to me. I want to know when the 5-minute limitation was changed to 3, who made the decision, and why. Okay, thank you. Roughly where I left off, and this is in regards as my request to speak was, I ended saying, there is no such thing as transitioning of a person's biological sex or any other form of deviancy that is not in keeping with genetic biology and procreation, and that is not considered perversion. Further, I was speaking about, we had been addressed by a number of these folks, and I might add, the folks that were involved in this drag show thing, we've been called everything from soup to nuts because we're standing against it. Further, this same Lord Jesus Christ, whom all these folks have been saying is loving and accepting and not judgmental, is just and righteous. He says this, "Whosoever shall receive one little child in my name receives me. But whosoever shall offend one such innocent one in me, it would be better for them to have a millstone hanged around their neck and they be drowned in the depths of the sea." If that isn't judgmental, I don't know what is. Woe to the world because of offenses, for it must needs but that offenses come, but woe unto that person by whom the offense comes. That's in Matthew 18. Far too many times, these same folks, roughly 2% of the population, by the way, who are demanding our acceptance of this deviant and perverted lifestyle, recently have their demand that they be able to perform publicly and openly, and to include innocent children accompanied in our public paid-for facilities, is reprehensible. We who oppose these actions and the use of our tax-supported facilities have been openly called haters, bigots, judgmental, homophobes, with not one rebuke from the council person, especially you, Mr. Mayor. You are supposed to be the arbiter and protector of these meetings, maintaining order. You've not. Further, Mr. Mayor, you have not followed the already codified Ordinance 401 to prevent such behavior and have made no attempt to protect the children in this community, not in keeping with the quoted word to do so. I'll again ask for your resignation. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Pawlowski, you're up next.
Mayor, councilman, councilwomen, once again, you're seeing the citizens of Cottonwood and surrounding areas here before you, asking you to agendize the drag show as far as children, minor children attending. You have not done so. I don't understand why you're violating one of your own ordinances to respect the voices of 2 council members. It's very simple. Put it on the agenda so we can talk about it. Now, since it's still not on the agenda, and we still object to you holding the drag show in the way you did, you also violated, as you've been told, Ordinance 401. Councils and mayors are not supposed to violate ordinances. Those are considered laws of the city. Your city mayor is still not holding any of you responsible. So I think it's time that you started listening to the citizens. If you don't, we'll keep showing up until you agendize it. And please stop violating ordinances. I think any citizen who did what you all did would be prosecuted. So set an example, expect your citizens to follow the law, the ordinances, and you do as well. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, next on the agenda is consent agenda. The following items are considered to be routine and non-controversial by the council and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member or a citizen so requests, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda. So we have 6 items this evening under consent. And first up is a new liquor license application, 013 Farm Winery for Ryan Whitner Anderson, applicant for Caduceus Cellars located at 741B Air Parkway, Unit 11. And second item is new liquor license application 013 Farm Winery for Ryan Whitner Anderson, applicant for 48 Wineworks located at 741B Air Parkway, Unit 12. Third item is request for authorization to submit an application to the Arizona State Historic Preservation Office for Historic Preservation Pass-Through Matching Grant. Item 4 is request for approval of a 5-year intergovernmental agreement with Mingus Union High School District for use of the Cottonwood Aquatic Center. Item 5 under consent is appointment of Historic Preservation Commission member. Item 6 is a request for authorization to submit a grant application to the Federal Aviation Administration for projects funded with fiscal year 2023 bipartisan infrastructure legislation bill funds. Is there an item that a council member or citizen would like to have pulled? All right, all motion to approve the consent agenda? Okay, Mayor made the motion, Councilmember PALOSAARI seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, consent's approved, and we move on to New business. The following items are for council discussion, consideration, and possible legal action. First up is the public hearing on the tentative budget for fiscal year 23-24.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. Scotty Douglas, City Manager. This presentation will cover both items number 1 and 2 under new business. And I'd like to just kick this off with a message from the City Manager, and then I'll be turning it over to Kirsten Lennon, our Finance Director. As we embark upon a new fiscal year, I'm here to present to you the city's proposed fiscal year 2024 tentative budget. This budget reflects our commitment to fostering growth, progress, and a higher quality of life for our residents and our visitors. As adopted earlier this month, the city's 2-year strategic plan contains the 5 following areas of focus: building quality of life through sustainable growth and development, lead with environmental stewardship, prioritize our infrastructure, furthering financial accountability and transparency, initiate and maintain opportunities for collaboration, education, communication, and legislative advocacy. In support of our strategic plan and the Council's priorities, I'd like to highlight several areas that are included in this year's proposed tentative budget. I'd like to start with housing development. One of our top priorities is to address the pressing issue of housing availability and affordability. Recognizing the city's role in spurring housing development, we've allocated significant resources to support housing development initiatives. Our goal is to collaborate with local developers, community organizations, and stakeholders to promote the construction of affordable housing options and explore innovative solutions to meet the diverse needs of our residents. In this next fiscal year, you can look forward to a citywide comprehensive housing strategy to address this. Next is economic development. We firmly believe that a thriving community is the cornerstone of a prosperous city. To stimulate economic growth and to attract new businesses, we will develop a comprehensive economic development strategy through targeted marketing campaigns, business growth, and entrepreneurship support programs. By nurturing a business-friendly environment, we aim to attract investments, create job opportunities, and enhance the overall economic vitality of the city. Next is improved infrastructure. Well-maintained infrastructure is essential for the smooth functioning of our city and the comfort of our residents. Understanding the significance of this aspect, we have allocated substantial resources to address critical infrastructure needs. We'll focus on road repairs, expansion of public transportation services, and modernization of utility systems, to name a few. Additionally, we plan to update the city's water and wastewater master plans. And this is as we begin the utilities rate studies to support future system enhancements. Next is fiscal responsibility and accountability. We recognize the importance of prudent financial management and fiscal responsibility. And with a strong emphasis on transparency and accountability, the proposed budget ensures that taxpayer dollars are utilized effectively and efficiently. We have employed careful analysis and strategic planning to optimize our resources, streamline our processes, and reduce unnecessary expenditures. Our goal is to achieve a balanced budget while maintaining essential services and providing value to our community. And lastly, staff recruitment, retention, training, and succession planning. As you know, we cannot be successful without a strong and committed workforce to ensure that not only the daily services are delivered to our community on a consistent basis, but that we're positioned for ongoing success in the future. Recruiting qualified candidates through targeted efforts, hiring those candidates, and training the future of our workforce is essential. In addition, it is even more important to invest in our current staff through development opportunities and succession planning, ensuring a continued driven dedication to our community. In conclusion, the proposed tentative budget for the upcoming fiscal year underscores our commitment to addressing key challenges while seizing opportunities for growth and our progress. At this time, I would like to turn the presentation over to Kirsten Lennon, Finance Director, who will walk you through the proposed tentative budget, highlighting the changes to the initially proposed fiscal year 2024 budget that was presented to you on April 25th. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I am Kirsten Lennon, the Financial Services Director here at the City of Cottonwood. We presented the proposed budget to you in April, and I just kind of wanted to go over a few items before we open the floor to the call to the public. And those are just mainly the changes that have happened between the proposed budget that was presented to you and the tentative budget that is in this packet. So one of the things I always like to highlight is our budget calendar and the fact that it takes all year basically to create this budget. and to get this done for you to adopt the tentative budget in June, and that to also tell you that we will be bringing back the final budget in July. We have done several outreaches to different community programs. We talked to the chamber, we talked to the Rotary Club, we have set up meetings at the senior center just to try to get the information about the budget out to the citizens. We had a town hall that no one came to. I was here, but nobody else was here, Tammy and I. But we did have a town hall. We are really trying to get it out and get people involved in the budget process. So in April, on April 25th, we presented a proposed budget for fiscal year 24 that was $182 million. And we kind of discussed why it's so high of a number, and that is because we try to budget for anything that may occur during the fiscal year. If we think we're going to get a grant, we try to budget for it so that we know we can spend those funds. Since that budget was presented to you, there have been several changes, and the reduction to from the proposed to the tentative budget is about $28.5 million. I've listed some of the larger items that have changed in the budget. One is that we added a school resource officer. We added the expense, but we also added a revenue because one of the schools in the area for Cottonwood Oak Creek School District got a grant. So they are going to fund a full-time resource officer in their school. We had to carry over our ladder truck. I am sure that most of you council members, maybe some citizens remember a few years ago, we budgeted $1.5 million for a ladder truck, and it takes a really long time to build those, and they don't anticipate that they're going to actually get it until August or September, and so we had to carry the funds over until we received that truck. We also increased a little bit the design cost for the Cottonwood Municipal Center to allow for some more design work and to get some options for council to look at. And then we moved the cost and the funding for that center. We're going to defer that to fiscal year 25 after we've had some more time to discuss that. We deferred the splash pad cost. It was in the budget, and we have moved that out to fiscal year 25 as well to allow for more development, just looking for grants or other ways to fund that project, and also to look at the design. We didn't get the $4 million we were hoping to get from the state to help with the repavement of Main Street from Walgreens to Gray Fox. We'll still try probably next year to get that funding if we can. But because of that, we had to remove that revenue source from the budget. So we had to transfer more funds from the general fund to the streets department to cover that. The proposed budget had 8 positions. We removed 3 of those, so there's only 5 added positions plus the SRO, which is 6. And then we decreased the undesignated reserves due to those transfers from the general fund to the other funds. We added a cybersecurity assessment, an economic development plan, which Scotty already mentioned, some leadership training, which Scotty mentioned, and an increase to our liability insurance just to allow for more coverage. So in the end, we ended up at $154,228,910. And I just always like to point out that, you know, as I said, we budget for anything that may occur. So we're just trying to make sure that by setting this expenditure limitation, we can do the projects that we need to do during the year. And with that, I am open for questions and also would like to take the time to open the floor for the call to the public.
Sure. Council, do you want to ask questions first of staff, or would you like to open it for the public hearing? Open it? Okay, great. So this is a public hearing, so we invite folks to come in and speak to us on any issue they have with the budget. And if you would like to, there are yellow forms to fill out, and Mr. Rothrock, having been a school teacher, did his assignment dutifully, filled out the yellow form. But if there's anybody else here this evening that would like to address council on this during this hearing, you're more than welcome to. So Mr. Rothrock, you're up.
As the mayor said, my name is Bob Rothrock. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. I appreciate all of your service. I'm here tonight to speak about the budget and in particularly our city airport. On June 16th, I received an email which included a vision and values report based on comments from the general plan meetings and citizens survey that was recently completed by the Planning and Zoning Department. Perusing comments from the survey, I found that the airport had 3+ pages of comments. I didn't see any that were positive. The only topic with more comments was housing and, of course, traffic. The vision and value statement that came out of this for the airport was Cottonwood's airport shall be planned and operated to prioritize safety. That's a given. And to serve an important function in the community and the regional economy. I then looked at the 2024 tentative budget and found that more than double the amount from 2023 is proposed for the Cottonwood Airport. Now I realize that some of this will be used to match grants, but our airport has generated a great deal of animosity from many of our own citizens, which you'll see if you read the comments that are in the survey. Perhaps before we spend up to $622,335 of our funds on the airport, we should discuss this issue with the cause of the problems, Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University. I realize they are holding a lot of aces and face cards, but a delegation, including the mayor, the manager, Mr. Tripp, and for sure a local reporter, might be able to make a breakthrough. Otherwise, we must begin to charge for touch and goes. Perhaps Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University could come up with the 622 Ks that are in the budget. It certainly would take some of the sting out of the slap in the face we, the citizens of Cottonwood and local taxpayers, are currently enduring. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, sir. Is there anybody else this evening that would like to address the council? No? All right, then council will open it up for questions for Ms. Lennon.
All have been answered previously.
Yeah, okay.
In meetings.
All right. Well, Mr. Douglas, I think, like I said, I gave you 2 weeks to get your feet under you when you got hired, but you did an excellent job getting all the council in your office to explain the budget. You came in halfway through this, but we appreciate all your efforts and yours too in getting this, all of our questions answered. We met with you many multiple times. At least I did. So
and I'd also like to give a big shout out to staff, obviously, for their support and fast forwarding my learning opportunity here, and for them doing a really great job. Thank you.
All right. Motion? Yeah, I'll take a motion if there's no further discussion.
I move to adopt the city's proposal fiscal year 2024 tentative budget as presented, and to establish the city's fiscal year 2024 expenditure limitation at $154,228,910.
Second.
Okay, Vice Mayor made the motion. Councilmember Karat seconded that motion. Let's get a roll call vote, please.
Councilmember DeWillis?
Yes.
Councilmember Duvernay?
Yes.
Councilmember Karat?
Yes.
Councilmember Naren?
Yes.
Councilmember PALOSAARI?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Weldon?
Yes.
And Mayor Linsky?
Yes.
And the motion carries.
Great, very good. Great work, staff. Thank you. Okay, I'll motion to pay the claims.
Second.
Okay, Mayor made the motion, Councilmember, or Vice Mayor seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And I'll motion to adjourn.
Second.
Mayor made the motion, Councilmember DeWillis seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned. Thank you.